Alright, you know the drill. You can either do the 1 block jump for the boring normal interest, or you can attempt the 1 block vertical jump for the fun cringe interest. Here in regular civilization, no one chooses to jump for the cringe. Okay, don't click off. I know I'm like months late to this joke, but I promise it's relevant to this video. I'm just really bad at recording things on time after I've written them. Also, let's not talk about this setup. I've changed it like a million times. One time I was in the middle of the darkness, and now you guys are sitting on my Shadow the Hedgehog collection. There you are, right there on the Funko Pop. Wait, actually, I've never shown this off before. Okay, you can't even see half of it. Never mind. But now I can do this. Hey. If you're not as chronically online as I am, that was a reference to the series Parkour Civilization, which I said it recently exploded in my notes here, but it was a while ago. But it did explode in popularity at some point. What started as a simple meme referencing the intro blew up into a full-blown fandom with real, genuine support and artwork and all sorts of love towards the series. And this isn't the first time this happened. I've noticed kind of a pattern that an ironic joke sort of slowly transforms into an unironic enjoyment of something. I look at something like this and it begs the question, why? Like, if this is something worth enjoying, why make it a joke at all? And looking at the bigger picture, why are we so afraid to be called cringe? Today I'm gonna be talking about a couple ironic fandoms, what I like / dislike / notice in general about them, and then I'm gonna do a little reflection about how all these different moments tie together. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, settle in, get comfortable, and join me while we talk about this fandom phenomenon. Also, if you like things like this, like internet and fandom culture, and also spooky things and video games and I don't know, anything like that, feel free to smack that subscribe button in case you want to watch more videos like these. Okay, let's go. So in the intro, I referenced the series Parkour Civilization. This is actually a multi-episode saga that spanned from October 2023 to May 2024, I think. But it didn't exactly blow up until October of that year, of 2024. There was a tweet referencing the opening where they say you either jump for the steak or the chicken, and it sort of blew up and started making its rounds on Twitter. If I can find the original tweet somewhere, I'll put it up here. Something interesting about this is I actually saw a clip on my TikTok. It was a couple months before it started blowing up like fully, and it was like a 5-minute long clip, and I just sat there watching it like I got like it was Cocomelon or something, and I sent it to my friend and we just laughed about us being iPad kids, and I thought that would be the end of it, but apparently it wasn't. So I guess imagine my surprise when I saw like fan art for it out of nowhere. I was like, what timeline are we in? But anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So in the wake of this tweet, more and more people started sharing this beef or chicken parkour jump and then doing their own versions of it with their own characters and fandoms and other things like that. And then that went so far that people actually started to watch the series, and then boom, it's like the dam broke. Fan art pouring from every corner. At first, the irony of art so beautiful coming from this ridiculous Minecraft series was the appeal. But, you know, it was clear that with each passing day, there were more and more people who just genuinely liked the series. I watched it myself, and I actually really enjoyed it. I won't go into all of the plot details, but this is what I wrote about it. It's a dystopian universe where everything is parkour, the currency of the world, the way you achieve status. There's a classist system in place that is meant to keep the rich on top while the ones below do their bidding. And Evbo, it's the guy who posted the series. His role is to fight the system and make a better life for all. And this is a Minecraft roleplay series. The plot, and honestly just the whole way that it's structured, reminds me a lot of a shonen anime. I kind of feel like that's where a lot of the influence for it came from. Also, nothing in the series beats this absolute golden moment.
It's a 5-block ice jump. Is that even possible? I opened the chest expecting to find nothing, but to my surprise, there was a book. When I opened it up, I realized it was written in parkour.
Either way, it was clear that a lot of effort and thought was put into the series, and you can see how each element and detail was deliberately planned out. I mean, there's foreshadowing. There is foreshadowing in this series. I'm trying to remember what it was. There was like a chainmail boots, and that was, spoiler alert by the way, there was chainmail boots, and that was the boots of like a secret level of parkour warriors that disappeared, and they made an appearance in the first series, but they didn't like actually expand upon that until like the sequel. So, or the season 2, I don't remember what it was. That's kind of crazy. Like, the forethought they put into that. But yeah, so thanks to the virality of the silly Minecraft exterior, a lot of people got introduced to something that they genuinely enjoyed. And I think that's something that's great to see. But unfortunately, it's not always so smooth, is it? We're about to get into one of the most infamous examples of an ironic fandom. Bronies.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Grandpa Cece's about to talk about some fandom history. Listen up, kiddos. I mean, I won't be going into a lot of detail because A, plenty of deep dive videos already exist about this fandom, and B, this video is mostly about how it started, not everything that happened afterwards. This story begins on a pleasant site, a utopia, where nothing bad ever happens and there's only positive vibes all around. 4chan. After the airing of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. In 2010, the new generation of the franchise had begun. I'm still not entirely sure actually if the beginning of the fandom was ironic or not. I wasn't able to find any like first-hand accounts of it happening. It's what makes most sense looking back. I mean, it's the overt cutesiness and femininity of it. It kind of tracks that a lot of chronically online probably incels would take that and run with it as sort of like a bit. But obviously it wasn't a bit for long, and it began to grow far, far beyond its dingy, questionable origins. I mean, to be fair, some really great music and art came out of it, and I ate it all up as a kid. Like Lullaby for a Princess, oh my god, that was so good. Both the song and that animation for it. The song Discord, I mean, triple platinum in my house, honestly. And honestly, if you're in any online space, fandom, anything like that for the past 10 years, you've probably heard it. It's everywhere. That being said, there was also plenty of wildly inappropriate things being shared in the same circles as young children, because that's what the original audience of the show was, is young children, like I was. Which, gotta say, reading Cupcakes at 10 years old cannot have been good for my psyche. But anyways, regardless of the controversies, you can see kind of the parallels with something like this and something like Parkour Civilization, how they had the same kind of evolution over time. I think it's interesting that there are examples of this kind of thing happening like even a decade ago, and it's still happening now. A decade, dude. I'm so old. The last instance I wanted to talk about is a little bit different from the others. Normally people will like something as a joke and then slowly begin to take it seriously. This instead was initially made fun of before I think people realized that it was intentionally being funny. Like, they were also in on the joke. I'm talking about, of course, the TikTok animated series? Danny Smoke Adventures in Furryland. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're probably like extremely baffled by the words that just came out of my mouth. Did y'all hear that? No, you didn't. But hear me out. Hear me out. There's actually there's a bit of lore around this guy, Danny, aka Papa Wheelie _ on TikTok. Before the series started, a few of his videos have gone viral for being like cringe. There's this one that I've seen around a lot that is basically him with like a drawing of Lois next, like Lois Griffin. I'll play it. You can see.
Oh, she's 2D? Lois? Spin around.
But you know, there are a lot of creators that make content like this, like intentionally cringy, and they commit to the bit so hard that people don't know if they're serious or not. Although I can tell you 90% of the time, I'm pretty sure they're not serious. To be honest, I have my own hang-ups about this kind of content. I feel like it kind of perpetuates stereotypes about, you know, usually neurodivergent people, and it makes them more of a target to make fun of. But I don't know, it's neither here nor there. I don't want to get into this whole thing right now. That's not what this video is about, but just putting that out there. The important thing is not many people would have expected a full animated dramedy series coming from an account like this, and yet the more parts posted in the story, the more of a fandom started to grow around it and people got invested in its ridiculous storyline. I'm gonna talk about the plot, but first, around the time when I think TikTok was like being threatened to be banned, he posted something saying that they were moving the series to YouTube, which I don't know if it did or not. I actually haven't checked up on it, but I'm pretty sure the username is the same on here as it is on TikTok. So if you want to check it out, I should probably check it out too. I could have done that before I made the video. Well, fraud alert, I'm sorry. But basically the plot is Danny falls into this semi-nonsensical isekai anime of like a utopia of hot furry girls, which is led by
King Magnum!
And he basically ends up trying to help King Magnum save his daughter from the evil society of trolls. Yeah, like the troll faces. You're thinking correctly. And there's some like enemies to lovers yaoi going on, and Shadow, my goat, is in it for some reason. Yeah, there's a lot going on. But even with this silly concept, I've seen quite a few great videos from people in the fandom that started to form around it. I mean, once again, it just goes to show that if there is any ounce of genuineness or sincerity behind a project, no matter how ridiculous it is, people will want to watch it. They'll like it. I also think that enough people picked up on the exaggeration of the cringe bit to appreciate the humor in it. So after talking about a couple examples, how do we figure out the connection between them? Well, first and foremost, I think we should address the elephant in the room. One of the biggest influences on how the internet has operated for over a decade. Cringe culture. I assume most people watching are familiar with the definition of cringe. I don't want to be like one of those YouTubers who's like wants to pad out the watch time so long that they just define every single word that comes up. But I do want to give a little bit of context, sue me, just because I feel like it's relevant. The idea of cringe is nothing new. Shame and embarrassment have existed as long as human emotion has existed. As a social species, we desire to fit in or do things that reward us with acceptance or positive interactions rather than rejection. It's just, you know, logic. When a group all behave a certain way or like a certain thing, our initial response will be to join in. When they've moved on to something else, the natural response to someone who's not joined in is to project their embarrassment onto them. After the introduction of the internet, trends and pop culture go by faster than they ever have before in history. As a result, the backlash against the people who can't keep up is even harsher. I think this is a mix of both the speed that trends start and die, but also the fact that nobody truly has like privacy anymore, and anything mildly embarrassing that you do or say can be seen by like millions of people if you're really unlucky. But there's a lot to unpack there too, so maybe I'll save that for another time. Point being, most people have their guards up when navigating new territory because of this, because of the very real threat of bullying from randos. So even if something starts gaining popularity that someone might be interested in, it's easy to fall into the nonchalant, ironic enjoyer persona and act like you're liking something as a joke. But then, you know, once you're looped in, it's easier to get more and more invested until you kind of stop caring about pretending. Like, you just like it so much that you just are open about liking it and you aren't really worried about appearances anymore. I couldn't find any actual research backing it up. It might just be like a, what's it called? An urban legend or like a rumor that has gotten spread around, but a lot of people anecdotally say that the more you joke about liking something, the more likely you are to like it, because your brain doesn't differentiate the happy feeling from like a serious statement and a sarcastic statement. But like I said, I'm not 100% sure if this is true, so don't just take my word for it. I just think it sounds plausible. You could also argue that if you're able to get into it that easily, there must have been some part of you that was always inclined towards it. To be honest, I think it's a little sad that people would care so much about what other people are into. Like, I've always had the life motto that if it's not hurting or offending anybody, then it's not my problem. You know? If someone puts genuine thought and passion behind making something, then there's value in it, regardless of the form it takes. My conclusion today, cringe culture is dead and buried, and I refuse to let it ruin people's innocent fun. It's not that deep. Just like things. Who cares? Who cares? Anyway, I'm not gonna just sit here preaching forever. I think you get my point. I hope you enjoyed either learning about or reminiscing on these ironic fandoms, and hopefully someone out there can either check one out or maybe even be inspired to make their own cool thing. The world is your oyster. It's been a long time since my last video. I actually don't know how long. At least a year. Probably 2 years. I don't know. I think I still had blonde hair when I made it, and I've gone through like 5 hair colors since then, so. But hopefully you guys will see me soon. I have a couple new ideas that I want to do, if I can get myself to do them. Let's wrap this up before it gets too interesting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you later. Bye!